Hey everyone, Chris Gambit here at the Phoblographer.com, and I'm continuing my ReEdit series that I've been doing for a little while now. And for this series, I decided I would go back into a creative series that I did called The Secret Order of the Slice, and I try to re-edit an image from it that I really loved. So let me kind of give you a little bit of background on the series. Let's go to right here. So this is my website. It's thegampat.com. And The Secret Order of the Slice is a series that I did personally, trying to find a way to kind of give people, or more or less kind of capture the excitement that people get when they see pizza. And it was partially inspired by Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. If you've seen the movie, you know about the briefcase and the golden light that comes out of it. So I was trying to find a way to kind of encapsulate that for New Yorkers. And the image in this series that I'm specifically working on right now is this one right here. And this one right here was kind of special to me. This is my friend Megan, and I really liked the tone and the overall look and feel to the image. And when I was editing, I was doing it in Lightroom, and arguably speaking, Lightroom is not my favorite editing tool. I really like Capture One a lot more. So I was trying to figure out a way that I could actually go back and re-edit this image. Now, this series is done, and I'm not going to go back and switch images around because, well, I've moved on creatively. But just to show you guys kind of the rest of the series, here's the rest of the series. You can go onto my website. It's thegampat.com, Gampat, and you can see over on the left-hand side, it's The Secret Order of the Slice, and this is where I've been doing a lot of my conceptual work, more often than not. So let's go back to Capture One right now, and specifically, I took a number of photos for this. I want to say, I don't even know how many photos I took, but let's, it's much less than 100. Let me go through the culling process with you guys. So, in Capture One, what I do is I say, red is the images that I don't really care about, and green are the photos that I do care about. So this was kind of a setup photo. So what you see here is a flash, a white card, and it's bouncing the light back up off of the top. And obviously we're at an angle where you kind of see that, but when you get kind of lower down in the way that I did, you don't see it at all. Megan's cat decided to actually get into the photo because he really wanted to be in there. Wonderful little cat, actually. So, those were just some outtakes, and that's really the way I set it up. And now, you see down here at the bottom that you don't really see the flash at all. But when a person is standing, like, right over here, you'll see the flash kind of hit them in the face. Obviously, though, I've marked all these images as red because I don't care about them at the moment. Obviously, cats on a pizza box are awesome, but otherwise, no. So this was a test shot, and I told Megan that this was actually going to be a test shot. What a lot of models and actors and actresses will do when you do a test shot is they'll do something kind of funny just because they feel like it. And as you can see from what I said, you can see the flash, and I changed the angle, and I believe that I actually may have cloned it out later on. But you see that it's hitting her, and that's kind of giving the effect that I want. I'm also changing the shutter speed to kind of drown out the ambient light to get more of that effect. So obviously this is a test shot, I don't really care about it. So is that, don't really care. Another test shot just to get things right. I think she had to step away for a moment. And by this time I told Megan to kind of look at pizza and just think about the most exciting moments that you've ever had with pizza. Just imagine like you haven't had it in a while, or like you were away for a while, and then you came back, and you were like, oh man, American pizza, like, I haven't had it in years, I'm so excited to have it. Specifically New York pizza, because this is in her Bushwick apartment. And there you go, now you start to actually get more of that look. And I like that previous photo, I set it to green, because maybe I will want to edit that, I don't know. No, that's not really got the magic. You kind of see it there, but still not really enough. No. Let's see. Sorry. No. That's kind of cool. That is okay, but no. You kind of see it there, yes. You're not really seeing it there, so no. You are seeing it there, so yes. You are seeing it there. And now I decided I'd change up the framing, and Megan decided that she would do something with like having a little leg up to kind of give a little bit more atmosphere to the image. And I'm gonna choose that one. I like that one. I do like that one. Um, that one's okay, I guess. You can still clearly see that it's a pizza box. It's still hitting her in the face. The fact that I cut it off a little bit bothers me, but it really shouldn't, overall, when it comes to the actual context of the photo. That's cool. That's actually really cool. I really do like that. That's pretty awesome, but I don't think that anyone would ever actually naturally stand that way, so no. That is really cool. Um, that's okay. That's cool. Yeah, those were the end of them, actually. Let me see. Yeah, actually, that was the image that we chose. I remember because her cat comes in, and we get to pause for a little bit. So of those images, let me see for a second. Those are 32 images. I narrowed it down to 11. So I'm going to select green, and now I can see, okay, these are the images that I actually care about. So, I want to say about a third. Now I'm gonna do a second cull. That's cool. No, that's okay. No, that is showing the expression I want. That is, but that's doing a little bit more. Cause see where the leg is, and see how close she's getting. So that one's a more powerful image. That one's cool. I really do like that one. That one is the one that actually won and made it. Let's not keep that one. I do like this one. That's really cool. That's pretty funny to me, honestly. And that's really cool too. But I mean, I also have a little bit too much of the flash in there, and that can be a little difficult to clone out. I mean, I could do it in Photoshop, but no matter what, I actually try to stay as much of Photoshop as I possibly can. And now, when I'm looking at these again, I'm trying to think about the flash that's in there. So, trying to find a way to, sorry about that, get the flash out of there. And that's one of the reasons why I probably went with this photo. One, the cat is pretty awesome. Two, you barely see the flash in there. And that makes it easier for me to clone out. That one's cool though. I do like that one. Let's say no on that one. That one's pretty awesome. I like the expression more with the mouth here than here. So I'm gonna cull that down again. That's cool, and that's cool. But this is kind of tough to clone out, so I'm going to say no to that one. So now we have these two images that I can work with, and let's kind of go through. So, these were from the same session, so that means that I can do some very simple work. Just to let you guys know, first off, I did this with the Sony A7 original on the 24-70 2.8 G Master. And it was at 1/80th of a second, f4, ISO 100. Both images were the same. So, yeah. Let's go in now. So, I'm going to do diffraction correction. I'm doing basically general edits right now. And I'm going to say, do I like extra shadow or do I like high contrast? Or do I like film standard? I like extra shadow, actually. And as many of you know, I always edit to 5500 daylight because it gives me the best starting point, and it's also usually warm enough for most images and most photos. Then I'm gonna tone down the highlights just a bit more, and see, I get a little bit more of the background. If I do higher contrast, I get that. If I do brightness, it's taking away from the fact that, like, lights are on her face. So I'm gonna kind of nerf the brightness a little bit more. And the overall exposure, I think I'll raise it up a tiny bit. Yeah. Clarity, just a bit. Structure, just a bit. Brightness, let me see what happens when I keep nerfing that. Actually, yeah, that looks better, in my opinion. Then I'm going to do a little bit of general sharpening. And I'm also going to do... I'm not going to do local adjustments just yet. Sometimes I don't even care for them. Okay, so all of the edits that I've done to this image, I'm going to sync to the other image. So I've synced those, and now we get this photo. And as you can see, there is a lot less sharpening and a lot less clarity overall in the background and stuff like that. So it looks better. Something that is sort of kind of bothering me is the distortion. Not really the distortion, but more the fact that like nothing is straight and everything feels kind of off kilter, if anything like that. So let's see what happens when I nerf the distortion even more. Okay, so that's at 120%. And now I'm going to choose to straighten according to this line right here. Yeah, just getting closer to my computer. Cool. Okay, so that's straightened. And you can kind of complain that I cut her foot off, but whatever, I don't really care that much about that. Maybe I can straighten according to the pizza box, though. I think that sort of actually makes more sense. If I straighten according to the pizza box... Yes, right there. Okay, so now the pizza box is actually perfectly flat. And everything actually looks a little bit more, I guess, centered, or it makes more sense compared to the way that the eye would normally see this stuff. So now what I like to do is I like to go into the color editor, and Capture One approaches color really well. First off, it lets you kind of balance certain areas to different colors. So for example, let's say the shadows. Let's say I wanted the shadows to be more blue or purple. I could do that, kind of that more or less Instagram type look that is so popular these days. But I don't really care about that. Highlights I can make more blue if I wish. Actually, that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to keep them at that color. Yeah, because now, see what it's doing? It's making the light on her stand out even more. And the midtones, I can kind of do something similar. I'm going to make them more that color. I'm going to see what happens when I mess with the midtones even more. So now, I'm bringing more details back from over there. And I'm bringing more details back from there as well, too. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So... that looks like a better image to me. I do like that. I think that maybe the colors could probably have a little bit more pop to them, though. So from the color balance editor, I'm going to go into the actual color editor. And what you can do in Capture One is you can kind of select colors individually. So now I see only that channel. Now I'm seeing only the purple, and you see that there's a little bit of purple on Megan over there, but that's not really very important to the image, so I don't really care about that. Let's see what happens, though, when I mess with the hues. Gonna mess with the lightness a little bit more. Purple is her shirt is also purple, but for some odd reason, you barely see any there. Blues are more associated with the background over there. To make them punch out more, I'm gonna saturate the hell out of that. And now greens, there are barely any greens in the scene, which is odd because I actually believe that there are plants, yeah, in the scene somewhere. These are the oranges, which we could really dominate the scene because her apartment is very orange. So I'm going to work with the hues here. I don't know if I want them that color. I actually want them more this color instead. See what happens when I bring the hue all the way over to there. Let's show you what it looks like in the whole scene overall. That's a little bit more pizza colored. That's a little bit more apartment colored, and that actually makes more sense according to her apartment. And now the rest is pretty much just what's going on with her apartment. If I bring the hues this way, she's standing out a little bit more. If I bring the hues this way, then she's blending in more. So now I'm trying to get her to stand out more, and I bring the hues over to the other side, and I saturate just a bit. I don't want to saturate too much, though. And now I adjust the lightness. And now the areas like the table and her are really kind of starting to pop out a little bit more. And if I adjust the lightness of this channel, then they're adding more emphasis to her by making it darker. But they also look very nice when they're lighter as well, too. So, now that I did the majority of those edits to this image, I'm going to sync those edits to the other image. The reason why is because they're within the same shooting session, and none of the settings changed, as you saw before. They're both at 1/80th of a second, f4, ISO 100. The light didn't really change that much either. So I'm going to click apply, and now I get this image, and I get this image. Now this image wasn't straightened out. I'm going to see what happens when I straighten this image out. So I'm going to say straighten according to that area right there. Going to come in a little closer. I don't really like that. Straighten according to the pizza box. That works for me. Now here's the thing. There is a lot in this photo that is superfluous. Versus in this photo where we kind of get right in there. This photo, though, shows that, okay, she's in her apartment. We don't really care about that stuff, and we don't really care about that stuff. So let's see what happens when I crop. I don't think that this really needs a crop. The reason why is because it just kind of looks good the way it is. I mean, you're showing off that it's an apartment. It's storytelling in a way. So if I crop to there, you're still getting the idea that maybe she's in an apartment or maybe she's in an office. But if I crop this way, it's kind of like she's in an apartment, but it's still not giving kind of the grandiose look of it all. Let's see what that looks like. That's too cropped for me. I don't really like that. So I'm going to go back to the original. Personally, I do like that. I don't really think there's a major reason to crop this because, once again, we're storytelling. We're saying that she's in an apartment, and you do kind of get that from this. Especially because, I mean, there's a cat there. There's another element in this image that tells you that she's probably in her apartment or within a home or something else like that. So yeah, with that said, I'm just going to export and get these out, and I'll write up the blog post. And thank you guys so much for everything. Have a good one. Take care.